So, if you're in software, you know all about CI/CD. It is the engine that powers modern development, right? But what happens when you try to apply those same trusted principles to AI? Well, it turns out you pretty much have to throw the old rulebook out the window. Let's dig into how CI/CD has to completely change for a world that's built on probabilities, not certainties.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the fundamental problem we're up against. See, all of our traditional software testing, everything we've built, is based on this idea of predictable, repeatable results. But with AI, that whole foundation just vanishes. We're in a totally new reality here.
All right, so to really get a handle on where we're going, we have to be super clear about where we've been. For decades, our automated pipelines have been built on this one really powerful and honestly very convenient assumption that software is deterministic. So, what does that actually mean? It's simple, really. If you give a system an input, you expect the exact same output every single time. You run a calculation, you get the same answer. You call a function with the same arguments, you get the same result. It's this beautiful predictability that makes a simple pass or fail test work so well. It's binary. It's either right or it's wrong. Okay, so that's the old world. Now, let's jump into the world of AI, which plays by a completely different set of rules. We are officially leaving the land of certainty and entering a world governed by, you guessed it, probability. And here is the absolute kicker. In an AI system, that variability, that randomness, it's not a bug. It's a feature. Think about it. If you ask a language model to summarize a news article twice, you might get two slightly different summaries. But they could both be perfectly good, perfectly correct summaries. The system is working exactly as it should, even though the outputs aren't identical. This right here, this visual shows you everything you need to know. On the left, that's the world we're used to. Clean, one-to-one, predictable. But on the right, that's the AI reality. The system isn't giving you an answer. It's giving you an answer from a whole cloud of possible good answers. So our job isn't to check for one specific output anymore. It's to understand that entire distribution. So you can probably see where this is going, right? If the output isn't one single predictable thing, how can a test that's only looking for that one thing ever really work? This is where the entire paradigm of pass-fail testing just starts to completely fall apart. The whole idea of what correct even means has to change. It's not a simple yes or no question anymore. Instead, we have to start asking different questions, like, is this behavior acceptable? Is the output within the guardrails we've set up? We're moving from a binary checkbox to evaluating a whole spectrum of behavior. This table really breaks it down for us. With a traditional system, failure is usually a clean break. It works or it fails. For an AI system, failure is often this slow, creeping degradation, a gradual drift in performance. And you can't catch that with a simple unit test. For example, maybe your model's average response length suddenly starts getting longer and longer, or its tone shifts ever so slightly from neutral to negative across thousands of responses. A classic unit test would never see that. You have to hunt for statistical anomalies instead. Okay, so if we can't test for one single correct answer, what the heck are we supposed to do? Well, the new goal, our new North Star for quality in AI, is all about system stability. And when we say stability, we're not talking about freezing the system's output, not at all. It's about making sure the character of the output, its general behavior, stays predictable and within the bounds we've set. Think of it like this. You're not trying to make a river flow down the exact same path every single time. You're just building the riverbanks to make sure it doesn't flood the town. You're managing the boundaries of its behavior. And that means our CI/CD pipelines have to get a whole lot smarter. They're not just running tests anymore, they're becoming these super sophisticated monitoring platforms. They have to ask questions like, is the output variability getting too high? Is the distribution of answers shifting in a weird way? And are we seeing new kinds of failure patterns that we've never encountered before? When you start thinking this way, you realize something huge. CI/CD isn't just an automation tool for developers anymore. It's transforming into something much bigger, a critical mechanism for system governance. And you absolutely need that governance because in these complex AI systems, the tiniest little change, just tweaking a default setting or updating a model can cause these massive, unexpected ripple effects. And the scary part, without the right kind of pipeline to watch for these shifts, they can happen completely silently.
So this forces us into a much more disciplined way of releasing things. Notice this flow. The first step isn't just test, it's analyze behavior to understand the real impact of a change. Then, and this is so important, there's a human approval gate. A person has to give the okay. Automation assists, but a human makes that final call before it goes live.
This kind of rigor, it's not optional. It becomes absolutely critical the closer these systems get to being used by real people in the real world. This life cycle discipline is basically our primary tool for managing risk and ensuring these incredibly powerful systems operate safely and predictably. So, we'll end with this thought. If CI/CD is no longer just a technical pipeline for developers, if it's now a core governance tool for the business, what does that do to the idea of accountability? Who's on the hook when things drift in the wrong direction? It's not just a coding question anymore, is it? It becomes a much deeper question about organizational structure, about responsibility, and ultimately, about who is truly accountable.